You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Monster High, Ultimate Spider-Man, Naruto, Barbie Dreamhouse Adventures, Stretch Armstrong and the Flex Fighters, Red Dead Redemption 2 game, and more under his belt. You may not know his name, but for the last 25 years, I think even more, O.G. Banks III has been the voice behind some of the world's greatest characters in cartoons, animated films, and video games. I know that was a quick list, but what did I forget?
That was good. Muppet Babies.
Muppet Babies?
Yeah, Muppet Babies is one. And Avengers. Lego Avengers is my new one.
That's the new one, but I mean, you did a lot of things for Disney as well along the years, along the way with Disney XD as well.
Yes. Yes.
How many characters do you think that you've probably done over the past 25, 30 years?
Wow. Hundreds. And here's the reason why, too, because when I'll get on a show and they'll hire me for one character, but when I'm on the show, I'm usually doing like 4 or 5 characters on that one show. So it adds up pretty quickly.
Give me an example. Are they wide in variation as far as the 4 characters you may do on a given show?
Yeah, like on the show Ghost Force, I play the kid. I play the kid. Like this. Guys. I'm very inquisitive and everything. But then I also play the dad. I play the father as well. So I also play my father. So I have a lot of scenes where I talk to myself back and forth like a crazy person.
Do you channel real people in your life? If you're going to do the father character, do you channel O.G. Banks the second?
I do a little. Yes, I do. I do a little. Yes, my father does come out just naturally.
For those who don't know,
naturally.
O.G. Banks and I grew up next door to each other. Mm-hmm. And I say next door, I mean house,
literally
next door to each other.
Yes.
And we both moved into Harbor City in 1975 within maybe 3 to 4 months of each other.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And both of our families had moved in. I think I was 5 years old and you were 2.5 years old. And we became instant friends. And he would usually have these great birthday parties.
Yes.
Where you invite the kids from school or in the neighborhood, and we have dance contests. How many times did I win?
Yeah, I was going to yes, you would win.
Thank you.
Would
Thank you very much.
He would be he would always win the prize.
I got moved.
He would always win every year. Yes.
So why did you stop having birthday parties and dance contests?
Because it was the same thing every year. You just come in and take all the prizes dancing.
It's so funny because I don't think either of our parents or families would have any idea that you would end up doing what you are doing now and what I am doing now. I know your parents would listen to KFI religiously.
Yeah.
And I think one morning they heard me filling in for Bill Handel or something. They said, "Oh my God!"
My mom. Yes.
And I think my parents saw your name in the credits one time on one of the Disney XD series, and they said, "Oh my gosh, it's OG." What is it? And the reason I bring that up is, what does it mean to have that type of affirmation from parents and family?
Oh, it's the best. It's the best because you can tell them, I'm going to do this, but they're like, what are you really going to do?
Yeah, when are you going to go out and get a job?
Yes, when am I going to see these results? So when the project actually comes out and we're able to watch it together and they're actually able to see me and hear me and look at my name on the credits come in, it's very fulfilling. It's like, yeah, see, I told you I was doing this.
I remember when I came out of college and I started working in the music business, my parents were not really happy with that. It's like, hey, we spent all this money. We sent you to Georgetown University. Now you want to work in the music industry. You didn't need to go to school for that. And now you're out here just trying to play record executives and spend some money. It's like, that's not what we expected of you, because our generation, I remember we would play in his room, and I think you had the Lord's Prayer up on your, Father Navy Man.
Yeah, great memory.
Oh no, I remember because he was very upright and circumspect as far as what he expected of you. And if I were going to be playing with you, I was not going to be a bad influence on you. And so I needed to learn the Lord's Prayer as well. I was like, I learned it. It's not a problem. But it's interesting how we can have these I wouldn't say burdens, but expectations placed upon us, and they propel us, and they also compel us to meet their standards. Because even to this day, when I open up the mic, I always want to be careful and conscious of that I don't say anything that my mother, who's probably listening, would disapprove of.
Yes.
And I'm always conscious of that. It's like, would my mother be okay with that? Now, if you met my mother, you would know that she is as profane as anyone. So I have a lot of room to work with. But their approval has always meant something to me. How did you navigate that?
Oh, it was hard. My dad, like you said, he was the strict one. My mom was the one that was more like, go, baby, you can do it. You can do it. And she drove me to my auditions and everything. And it was a real struggle. But my dad is the one that taught me, well, if you're going to do this, you got to do it. You got to take it seriously. This isn't something that you can just willy-nilly and just, do whatever. You have to, like, really be strong and take it serious. And so in that balance of the tough with the soft really helped. Because whenever I was down, my mom was there to bring me up. And if I was too up, my dad was there to be like, don't get too high. There's more to come. There's tomorrow. So with that balance, it really helped me. And that propelled me to, like, when I did actually book something and had a project and was able to share it with them, that's why, it brought me so much joy because of all that hard work of not only going to the auditions and going to the rehearsals and all that, but the family aspect of, some believing in you, some not. There's times when they both do, and it's just that whole dynamic.
How many times did you hear no before you finally had a yes?
Oh, hundreds and thousands.
Before you had a yes?
Oh, yeah, thousands of times, before a yes, yeah.
How does that not break you in your spirit?
Oh, it does. It does. I've at the beginning, I stopped several times. I was like, this isn't going to work. Oh, but then you try to find your way. It's like, okay, if I'm not doing well in this, let me try to tweak this here or take more classes here to learn something or maybe try something else, but still within the field. So I'm still learning. But the no's, you're taught that that's part of the game. That's part of it. It's a numbers game. But the numbers were so high on the nose. I was like, what kind of game is this? This is not a game I like. But once I got that first yes, the magic and the confidence and the Hollywood magic, like, kind of just came through me. And it started coming together a little bit more.
Yeah, it's almost, this is a crude analogy, but this is the only way I can explain it. No one thinks you're sexy until someone finds you sexy. And when someone tells you yes, and all of a sudden people start looking at you, it's like, ooh, what have I been missing out on? Or what is it that person has that I have not realized yet? It's very true as far as radio. It's like once you get on the air, then people want to hear more of you, usually. But getting on the air is a very difficult process. What was that first yes? Do you remember what it was?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Great question. Yes. It was for frozen pizza. And it's not out today. It was a kid's frozen pizza, and I played the puppy dog.
Oh, you weren't even a person.
Yeah, no, I was not even a person.
So there were no lines.
I didn't. I said something like, "Come and get your pizza," and I said the name of the pizza, but that was about it. And and I was the puppy dog for the commercial.
Was it a national commercial?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so it was a decent payday.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yes, it was. It was.
What was your first TV show that you booked?
The first TV show. Wow, good question. Oh, it was. I'm
pretty good at what I do, though.
You are. Whole Street High. Whole Street High.
I remember that one.
That was back when Parker Can't Lose, that TV show.
Yes, I remember that show.
That was our rival. It was Parker Can't Lose and Whole Street High. We were up against Parker Can't Lose, and you remember Parker Can't Lose because they won.
But I remember my mom was so proud of you when you booked Newsies.
Yes. Yeah. That changed my life.
What did you do in Newsies?
Newsies, I played Boots. I was an actor-dancer. I was an actor who danced well. That movie took 2 years to make because we did a whole year of rehearsal and then a whole year of actually filming. But there was that was on the Universal lot, I remember, and I remember the tram would come through. We would make
Would you wave at the people?
We made special dances for the tram. We would make up special Newsies dances. We knew when the trams were coming, and we were so enthralled, like, whoa, we have to do something for them. So we all came up with, like, Kenny Ortega, the director's like, why don't we come up with like a cool little dance for them? So when they came through, sometimes, if we were on break, they'd be like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'd do this dance, and everybody, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And to be at the Universal backlot, just to work there, and to be there every day, that was magical. That was just magical. And because you're working on a film there, but there's another film going on right next door over here. There's a TV show going on right over here. I snuck over to the set over here and met Bruce Willis. I wasn't supposed to, but I just ran back.
You met Bruce?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yes, I did.
It's weird because as much as we enjoy working in this, we're fans as well.
Yes.
We enjoy being part of it, not necessarily the center of it. Mm-hmm. So, OG, what was before we go to break, have you had that one role where you said, yes, thank you, I finally made it? Because, for example, for me, just being in news and radio and talk, the first time I appeared on CNN for the national feed, and my friends saw me from coast to coast, and I wanted so long to just have that one moment. Didn't get paid for it, but it was one of those things. It was the affirmation I needed. It's like, I might be able to do this. I belong here, and I'm going to stay here. Did you have a similar moment?
Yes, I did. My moment with that was, it was really my first Marvel gig. The first Marvel gig I did when I was Power Man.
How many Marvel gigs have you had?
Several. I mean, that was pretty much the jump start.
Okay, so that was that moment where you was like, I'm here.
That was, because that was like my first like real superhero, and it was like a series I was on that, and I'm on every episode. I was on every episode. I'm going there every week, and there were celebrities on the show, and I'm just like, and I'm part of the show. They would read, and my part would come, and I would forget to read because I'm like, oh, that's right, I'm part of the show too. Oh, I need to wrangle myself in and be a part of the show. But that was the moment because, and plus getting the accolades from the people that I work with too. Yes, from the family, but the people I work with too, knowing that you're doing a good job. But that was the one. That was the one.
When we come back, let's get into Lego Marvel Avengers, the animated show in which you are starring as Captain America Sam Wilson himself. And,
yes.
That's against the backdrop of the Captain America 4 movie, which is coming out in February, which is not going to hurt what you're doing.
Yes. No, you got that right.
So OG Banks is joining us in studio right now as part of Later with Mo Kelly's Halloween Soiree. And also we want to send a special thanks to BJ's Restaurants for setting up our party with pizza, wings, and salad for this party. Put your hands together for BJ's.
Woo! BJ's.
More with OG Banks in just a moment. KFI AM 640, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
We're not done yet. It's KFI AM 640, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. It's Halloween on Later with Mo Kelly. My guest right now is OG Banks III.
Hello.
And his latest project is Lego Marvel Avengers Mission Demolition, where he co-stars as Captain America Sam Wilson himself. Mm-hmm. Before the break, we were talking about how you got started working with Marvel. What is it like working with Marvel, for Marvel? Because I look at it as from an outsider, from a fan. I enjoy their animated properties. I enjoy their live action properties. I'm a Marvel fan through and through. But working for a company like that may be difficult in the sense of you usually sworn to secrecy. There are NDAs everywhere. You can't tell anything about anything. Mm-hmm. How is it navigating that space?
Good question. It is a little difficult, but it's fun difficult, if I can say. You're right. There is secrecy. You can't say anything. You can't say a word. And you have all this going on. You're so excited, but there's nothing you can say. And working for them, it's like with Sam Wilson, I I got every piece of footage they send me, all the footage, everything Sam Wilson and Mr. Mackey did. You have to prepare. So it's like.
So you are working in concert with the live action portion in large part, so there's uniformity.
Yes, they totally want that. They totally want that. It's still that essence of the character because the essence of the character, the coolness of the character, all that. So I had to study basically all his stuff, like the Falcon stuff, all the way till he did the Captain America thing. And working for Marvel. It's like, okay, that's the one. So, you prepare. You're doing your homework. You're doing your homework. You're watching for hours and hours, practicing my voice, practicing my cool, doing my thing. And you're doing it to the point where, there's nobody there to help you. The director's not there when you're practicing, So you're doing that all on your own. And it's not like I have the script yet. So I'm still just getting the essence of the character, just getting in the mood, just really feeling him out. So that by the time that it comes to where the script is presented to me and I am in front of everybody, I am prepared 100% in the mood, how he's going to be. So whatever they bring to me or whatever they have for me, I'm able to just slip right in and be that character.
Marvel is an iconic brand. Lego is an iconic brand. And since the original Lego movie, high expectations are placed on their properties as well. Are you ever concerned about trying to meet those expectations?
Yes, I am. And that's why that's why when I'm working, I'm in the booth, I will sweat so much because I am so worried. And I'm like, did I say the correctly? Did I say it correctly? Did I?
That type of minutiae.
Yeah, because I'm an actor, so I get crazy in my head. Especially when you're in the booth, because you can say a line. You can say, hey, are we going to go there? And then you don't hear anything because they're in another room, with the engineer.
You don't have a scene partner or anything?
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. And when you don't, you're there on your own. And even if you do have a partner, both of you are there on your own, and you're two neurotic actors, and you're like, did we do a good job or not? Because we didn't hear anything back. And then finally they'll say, great job, after 5 minutes. But within that 5 minutes, we're like,
How many takes might you do on a given scene? That's not going perfectly.
Oh, that's not going. Oh, I can say a line 20 times sometimes.
Just one line.
I can say one line 20 times sometimes. If that's how they are. If you are not getting it, if you're not in the right part of the scene, if the tone of your voice or anything, if they're not feeling it, they're not getting it. And I'm like, wow, this one line, and I'm saying it again and again and again, and even I have to breathe, take the notes. They might change a little bit here and there, but yeah, sometimes it'll be 20 times.
Okay, we started with the secrecy, my word, of Marvel. The reason I asked that is you may not have a scene partner. Are you getting your sides, in other words, your lines for the complete episode, or only your slither of what you need? Sliver of what you need.
Yeah, good question, and I'm lucky that I get the whole episode. Yeah, I get the
whole context.
Yes. So I understand everything that's going on, and also the director, they're there, so even if I didn't quite understand anything, they fill me in with all the juices and berries and all the good stuff.
All right, well, take us to this orchard. Tell us about Lego Marvel Avengers Mission Demolition.
Oh, well, it is. Well, it's a continuation of the Lego Avengers. They've been doing it for a while, and of course you have all your famous, the Thor, the Iron Man, all these people. And in this particular episode, there's a new bad guy in here. And with the new bad guy comes the Avengers coming in again. And I am included, Sam Wilson is included this time with the Avengers. In the past, they didn't have Sam Wilson, but on this one, they do have Sam Wilson, and going forward, they should have Sam Wilson, hopefully. But with Sam Wilson and the Avengers, it's about, really the episode is about being yourself. That's what the whole episode is. It's about being yourself. Through all this chaos and everything that's going on with the Avengers and the bad guy and everything, the moral of the story throughout, it's not just at the end you figure it out, but throughout it's about just being yourself. Taking the time to know yourself and be yourself. That's what I could say the episode is about. That's what I got from it.
Well, O.G. Banks, I appreciate the friend that you've been. I think of you as your brother because we literally grew up together.
Yes, my man.
Our bedrooms are maybe, I'll say, 50 feet away from each other.
Yes.
How can people follow you on social media? You're very big on social media. How can people join in?
Yes. It's my name. It's so easy. It's just my name, OG Banks. OGIEBANKS. You can
Sounds
Instagram,
like a commercial.
Facebook, all that. Like and subscribe.
OGIE Bex.
Yes.
Well, when I say my brother, my friend, I mean absolutely that. Obviously, I've said it because of about other people, and I say it in regard to you. Your success is our success. I love you. I appreciate you, and I salute you. And let's be sure to do this again in the future.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on your show, my man. I so appreciate you.
OG Banks. It's later with Mo Kelly. We're going to have the original cast back up here in just a moment. KFI AM 640. We are live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. In fact, Stefan, you need to bring your ass up here. You've been hiding in the back too long. Let the people see you. We're going to hear from Stefan when we come back.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And as we continue on with this great gathering, what I would call our friends. I feel like you're friends. I've known you for ever, and that's the beauty of radio. There's this level of what we call intimacy where you get to know someone a little bit more than just reading a teleprompter on a screen. I think you know more about me than I share with just any random person. It's a strange relationship because I'll tell you about growing up, my next door neighbors, or the things that I would do as a child, or when I was trick-or-treating. And those are conversations you just don't have with anyone. And you find, especially in radio, you will get to know, and it's a relationship that goes back and forth. I learn more about you, and you learn more about me as well. And with that in mind, Stefan, who not only is the technical director for the Tim Conway Jr. Show, but is also our technical director. He wears the literal definition of many hats, and he is not someone that you're often going to see in public on a microphone. So, like Mark Ronner, this is a special occasion. You may not ever see this again, right?
Yeah, exactly. Not going to happen often.
So, Stefan, I don't even know your full radio story. Like, I've talked to Mark Ronner, who's back with us, and he's told us some of his story. But your story as far as how you found your way into radio.
I essentially just started listening to podcasts from about 2005, 2006. Fell in love with it, started applying to different local podcast companies. I got hired as an intern, then quickly a producer, then quickly a program director. Then it all fell apart, and then I had to start all over again, and then got into almost actually a competitor, Sirius XM, but it didn't work out because the pandemic happened. So then I had to wait around. I kept applying. Like they were saying before, get used to no's, get used to failures and all of that because it took a lot. And one day I get an email that I legitimately thought was spam, asking me to come on as a technical director board op for KFI. Replied because you never know. And that ended up being the beginning of my journey here at KFI.
I got to ask. Yeah, you can go ahead and applaud that. Absolutely. I got to ask because some of us are in radio intentionally, and some of us are biding our time in radio because they want to do other things. I get the sense, now that I've worked with you a couple of years, that you love radio.
I really do, yeah. I mean, that's kind of because my generation, it started with podcasting, but I listened to talk radio even before that, and I always loved it, and I always loved the like you said, theater of radio, just how you have to listen to it, but you have to have descriptions of it, and, working with people like Mo and Tim, it's been great because they put on such a fantastic show, and they give you it's like you're in the room. So that's what I really appreciate about it.
What I appreciate most about Stefan, and I know Tawala knows this to be true because we've talked about it any number of times. When we first started working together, it took us a minute to get a rhythm so we can get a feel for each other. And I was telling you, as far as if I make a music reference, don't wait for me. Just go ahead and play it. Because if I say, any song, like a disco song or something, and the artist doesn't readily recognize it, they want to know exactly what song I'm talking about. So just go ahead and play it. And he was so good at that, finding the music and immediately playing it. He was one of the few people who understood me just immediately, and that helped the show grow. If I make some obscure reference to something, I don't need to even tell him. If I make reference to an old commercial, Pepto-Bismol or something, he will go find it. And it made the show all that much better. And then when you had someone like Mark Ronner, who had his own library of obscure references, he knew to do that as well. And so it made the whole show so much better. And he's another individual. If you like anything about this show, it has a lot to do with this guy right here. And he deserves his flowers. He absolutely deserves his flowers.
Thank you.
Now, we have to work out something that's going to get uncomfortable. If you listen to the show, you know that Mark and I are going back and forth. We're battling for rim shots to see who is funnier. He is the keeper of the rim shot. He gets to decide whether something is funny or not. Now, we both try to work the ref and try to cajole him and coerce him into giving us a rim shot, but he's the only one who gets to decide. If he laughs, and we can see each other by video monitor, if he laughs, that means we're supposed to get a rim shot. Now, you get to say who is funnier between Mark and me, and if you get it wrong, there's going to be a misunderstanding.
Now, before he answers, I want a forensic audit of his bank account because I think he's in your pocket.
So long as he comes up with the right answer, I don't care where he is.
Yeah, no, Mo is always the funniest.
Thank you very much. Good night, KFI AM 640.
Nice knowing everybody.
Now, when did you feel comfortable enough, Stefan? Because I said, don't wait for me. Just go ahead and trust your gut. How long did that take you?
I can still actually recall the night that I felt like we connected was when we talked about something had to do with Ice Cube and Tucker Carlson. And we were talking about how, Ice Cube can't pretend that he's this and then also pretend that he's on this side. And as you finished your sentence, I don't know if you remember it, I started just bringing up NWA Ice Cube's lyric, and you guys lost your mind when we went to the break. And after that, I was like, I know what to do.
Yeah, because I don't have time to talk about it on air, then find it on the computer, then play it, and also stay in the thought of the moment. So he has to be my third arm, if you will, and keep the show moving. And I know it's even more difficult because, as I said, Mark will have his own references. And you know, with your skill, you manage to be able to pull up any of our references within a reasonable amount of time. Like I may say, the Gloria Gaynor song, I Will Survive, or what have you, and I will start just spitballing and sort of just sort of vamping until you find the song. But we have these recurring jokes, and it's a lot of times because he is so good at being able to find material in a short amount of time. You may not know that, but that's part of the behind the scenes and sort of the magic. And there are times that I'll go back and listen to the podcast, and I will laugh out loud because he will have done something that I didn't hear in the course of doing the show live. It's a very different show when you're listening to it as opposed to actually doing it. And when he makes me laugh out loud, I know that he's adding something to the show. This guy never makes me laugh. But this guy always makes me laugh. Because when he laughs, it's genuine.
Yeah.
There we go, rim shot and everything.
Yeah.
When Stefan actually laughs, okay, he's not laughing for effect. He's not laughing to please anyone. He's laughing because it's genuinely funny. And the hardest part of radio, and I don't know if anyone really understands this, the hardest part of radio is you're in this box, and you get to see the box when we do the tour of the studios after the show. You're talking pretty much to a wall, and the wall doesn't talk back to you. The wall doesn't give you any feedback. The wall doesn't laugh. The wall doesn't say, that was kind of funny, or the wall doesn't say, that really sucked. You just have to look for any type of feedback which is available, and he'll give it to us. If it's not funny, he's just not paying attention. He's just off in his own world. You realize, okay, that's not working. Let's move on. But he is someone that helps the show grow from night to night to night.
I feel like earlier you were building up to singing the Diarrhea song, and I kind of want to hear that.
Diarrhea.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
No, Foosh is fast on the YouTube trigger, and you can tell how fast he is by the way we screw it up when we try it. Like I tried to hit a needle scratching across a record effect last week, and of course it went haywire, and we made a joke about that because we're so inept with the technical stuff. But Foosh is an expert at that. He's a savant at that.
So when we say he's the technical director, we mean that when we're trying to get in and out of breaks, when we're coming back from break, he's the one who's playing the bumper. He's the one who is playing any type of the media that you hear during the show. Now, there are times that I'll play audio and you'll hear me mess it up. It's like, oh, and I blame it on the computer. No, it's actually me because I'm an idiot when it comes to that stuff. True, I'll mess it up. All I'm hitting is the space bar. There's really nothing to mess up. So if it doesn't play, it is my fault. That's our secret. Don't tell anyone else. But the show, when it's at its best, is because Stefan is dialed in. And true story, I refuse to call you Stefoosh because that's what Tim Conway Jr. calls you. That's your love story between you and him, okay? You're Stefan to me because what you do for me is different from what you do for Tim Conway Jr. No disrespect, but I always try to keep that separate. But what Stefan does is I think what works best is Tuala's sense of humor is very similar to my sense of humor, which is very similar to his sense of humor and very similar to Mark's sense of humor. So we kind of know where a joke or a bit is going to go. And something else, when we're doing humor, there is a science to it. We can't all try to be funny at the same time. So if there's a time where Mark, I know, is really hitting it and he has a lot of jokes coming one after the other, day after the other, I know I have to play the straight man. Because when everyone's trying to be funny, that means nobody's going to be funny. So there are times where I'm running the jokes and then Mark will be the straight man and vice versa. And that's how the magic works behind the scenes. And if I can get someone like you to laugh and I'll hear from you through an Instagram message or a Facebook message, or if we should be talking on the phone for Name That Movie Cult Classic like we'll do at the end of the week, that means everything to me. Because to know that you brought some sort of affirmative joy in someone's life, to make them laugh out loud, not only is that almost impossible to do in today's world, it is a wonderful feeling to know. So when I know that he is laughing or you're laughing, or if I'm laughing even on listening to the podcast, I know that we're doing something just a little right. And seeing you all here tonight is the feedback that we all want and love. So once again, thank you for coming out tonight. We have one more segment here on Later with Mo Kelly for this Halloween Soiree special. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640 is Later with Mo Kelly. Halloween special. We're live everywhere, the iHeartRadio app. And joining me right now, and it's only appropriate that we're joined by the one, the only, George Norrie of Coast to Coast AM. George, how you doing, sir? George, you there? Yeah, technical difficulties. That's what happens with live radio. I cannot hear George. George? Going once? Yes, someone might have abducted George. Well, we tried. We tried. Before we get out of here, I do want to say, once again, we want to send a special thanks to BJ's Restaurants for setting our party up with pizza, wings, and salad for the Halloween soiree. Hope you enjoyed that. And, of course, Ron Ross with Wendy's for the great food and the spread this evening. And also, Tuala Sharp, where did you go? Did he leave already? Okay, he's around here somewhere. We'll get Tuala up here to give his final thoughts. Mark, your final thoughts on this evening and this show tonight.
I think George bailed on us because he heard the show.
Probably. See how he treats me? It's okay. It's okay.
We didn't want tonight to be any different than a normal night.
No, this is how we rib each other every single day, on the air, off the air.
No, we actually have conversations about, oh, Jesus, what's George going to think of the crap we've been talking about right now? He wants no part of this, right?
Yeah, if the show gets a little too risque, then we know to leave George out of it.
Because George scolds callers when they say something innocuous like crap on the air. He'll just stop the car.
He will. He will.
Yeah, I've heard him say, hey, watch that language.
Yes.
Like, did she just say crap?
And we get a little blue with our language every now and then. We like to push the envelope. We try to get right up to the line. I'll let a mother father know. Every once in a while.
Sometimes we go almost red.
Almost. And I know my program director, Robin Bertolucci, I want to thank her. She will sit me down and say, Mo, you can't use that language. I said, why? I'm not saying the word. She said, yeah, but other people know what you mean. And, if they're not only really paying attention, they think you actually said the word. And then I get the email and I get the complaints. and then I got to come back to you. And I just want to avoid all that. Okay, well, let that mother father know that I'm not going to change. Get over them damn selves. They kiss my ass. I'm sorry, as we were saying. And I wanted to make sure that you, Tuala, got your flowers as well, because we talked about this many, 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 many years ago. When Tuala Sharp first came to KFI, I had been here not much longer before him. And I said, Tuala, I'm trying to do this new thing, talk radio, make it sound a little bit different. It's going to be different. Because we came from a music environment. I was working with the music labels, and he was working in commercial radio. And where I came from, they said, you can't have music on talk radio. True story. Right. They did not want to have music outside of bumpers. You wouldn't have music conversations. You wouldn't feature music as part of the show, either in topic of discussion or in the background. And I said, no, that doesn't have to be like that. There's a space and place for that. There's a way that you can have different conversations where we're not just mad about everything all day long, every single day. That doesn't have to be talk radio. And I was talking about that with Tuala. I said, there's an opportunity for us to change the way talk radio sounds. This, right now, this today is the embodiment of that, where there's something just a little bit more joyful, a little bit less angry, a little bit more inclusive, and where you get to hear different voices. And I mean different voices, color, texture, hue, viewpoints, all of those things, because I think everyone has something worthy to add to the conversation. And it's not like we're going to leave here and we're going to agree on everything, okay? I oftentimes don't agree with myself. The things that I believed last week, new information, I may feel differently about it. And it's okay, because that's how we all grow together. And Tuala has been very much a part of this every step of the way. And there have been obstacles every step of the way. People say, you know my glory, but you don't know the story. It's been a long time coming to get to this point, and you need to have someone who's with you in your corner who, beyond you, will fight with you, not just fight for you, but fight with you. So, brother, I wanted to thank you for fighting with me each step of the way.
No, I appreciate that. I wholeheartedly appreciate that, and that right there is what had me come over, because my background was in urban music radio. And when he asked me to come over to KFI, I was like, no, I cannot come to KFI. And I remember he got the same comments that this is a career ender. You go to talk radio, this, that, and the other. You'll never come back to music. Yep. You're ending your career. What are you doing? That's where people go to die in radio. And most people, he said, no, T, if we do this right, we can do something special. We can change the landscape. We can change the nature of the conversation and feature and do things on radio that have never been done before. And when he said it, he was so sincere, so passionate about it. I said, man, let's go. And this by far has been the greatest journey in my now going on close to 30-year radio career, where I'm just like, every single day, this is a joy. We have fought long and hard to get to the point where we can have a Monday through Friday show, and every Saturday we would come on. When we just had Saturdays, we would treat Saturdays like it was Monday through Friday. We would prepare all week for one night a week just to say, we have to show and prove. That was our demo. That was our chance. So when they gave us this, we were all ready to go. Late night television on the radio.
Yep.
That's what we envision, and that's what we try to bring to the airwaves every day. So really, truly, it's always my pleasure to have been invited on this journey and to be able to share these moments with you all. Thank you all for coming out tonight. This is literally a dream come true.
So we're going to keep the dream alive. The first annual Later with Mo Kelly, Halloween Soiree. So I guess that means we're going to see you next year, right around this time, right? Again, before we get out of here, we got to say thank you to BJ's Restaurants for setting our party up with pizza, wings, and salad for this soiree. Thank you to Wendy's and more, and thank you to you. Now, let's go to the after party, not the P. Diddy party. The after party.
No baby oil.
Okay, you're leaving now. KFI AM 640. We are live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.